Alright, so we're back with another 2,000 point battle report. I have my Necrons out again, and this time I'm taking on the new Dark Angels. They're way down there, we'll get to them in a minute. But we're playing the Scouring, and I have taken, I forgot the paper real quick, 1 second. I have taken Domination, Deploy Scramblers, and Grind them down as my secondaries. And the Dark Angels have engaged in all fronts. While we stand, we fight, and raise the banners high. So my army is, of course, I have my Skorpekh Lord. I love this model. He's been one of my favorites since the Codex came out. He's probably not that competitive compared to some other options, but I just love him. And then I'm trying out a Catacomb Command Barge today. They both have Relics and Warlord traits. The Skorpekh Lord has the Veil of Darkness, and a Warlord trait lets him reroll to wound. And then the Command Barge has the Warlord trait that does -1 damage he takes, and the Relic of War Scythe, the Voidreaper I think it's called. And then for troops, I have a 20-man Gauss Flayer squad and two 10-man Gauss Reaper squads as my troop choices. I have two 9-man Scarabs as my fast attack. Elite choices, I have 5 Skorpekh Destroyers, and I'm trying out the big man today. So we have the Deceiver, not the Deceiver, the Nightbringer. I had to borrow him so he doesn't match my army, but he is there and painted. And then for heavy supports, I have 1 Doomsday Ark and my 3 heavy destroyers. And that's my whole army. I am trying out a custom dynasty today, so I'm trying out the everything's objective secured 6-inch move that everybody's been talking about. So we'll see how that goes. I've been playing Sawtech up until now. But anyway, that's my army for the game. We'll go down here to the Dark Angels, and they have a mix of everything. So we have 10 Intercessors with Stalker Bolt Rifles. That little guy is Azrael. And then there's 3 tactical squads with a Flamer and Stormbolter and Power Axe, right? In each one. 2 Terminator squads. One's more kitted for close combat, the other one's a little more shooty. Then we have a Chaplain on bike. There are 2 Razorbacks with twin heavy bolters and 1 Rhino. And then a Whirlwind. And finally, way over there in the corner, we have one of the new quad bikes with the Gatling cannon. We have a 3-man bike squad with 2 Flamers, and then a 4-man bike squad with 2 Flamers, and a multi-multi attack bike. And both of those bike squads have a Power Fist. And that is it, so we'll be back after deployment and see who's going first. Alright, so we're back after deployment, and we've already done the roll to go first. I lost, so the Dark Angels going first. But I did my pre-game move, so the Scarabs moved up, the Destroyers moved up because there's just no falling back with them. Warriors moved up the road, these Scarabs moved forward into the trees more. These Warriors got behind that building there, so they're out of line of sight from most everything unless they get a funny angle through here. And then the Doomsday Ark fell back a little bit because he has his buggy down there that's a quick movement in 24-inch range. So now I'm just out of his range. And that is it. The one note, I did mess up on my secondaries. I did not have Grind them down. I took the special for this mission, which is Strategic Scan. So I have Strategic Scan as my third one. So that's it. We'll be back with Dark Angels turn 1. Alright, so we're back at the end of Dark Angels turn 1, and the Necrons weathered it pretty well, just mainly because a lot of his guns are out of range still. He moved up with some bikes. The one biker stayed back just a little bit too far. He didn't pre-measure it, and he should have, so he was actually just out of range of these Scarabs. Other than that, a bunch of shooting into the Scarabs. I did regenerate 2 bases from all the will-be-backs to make, so I have 4 left. They passed their morale. And then these Skorpekh Destroyers took 1 random shot from a heavy bolter down there on that Rhino, a Razorback. And so that's where we're at right now. I have lost some Scarabs, but passed my morale, and everything else is still intact. So we'll be back with Necron turn 1. Alright, so we're back at the end of Necron turn 1. It was the fastest Necron turn I've ever had on turn 1. I moved up and am doing the scan on this objective for the mission-specific one. Same thing here with these Scarabs, and then once again, same thing here with these Scarabs. They'll probably get wiped and die, so that won't matter, but they're doing it anyway. These Destroyers did my Deploy Scramblers, because I didn't put any other infantry in my deployment zone. This guy was one of my only shots for the turn, and I had to use a reroll on one of my damage rolls, but he was able to take out the Razorback that was back there by those crystals. Other than that, these guys advanced. This guy here shot in, and that bike has 4 wounds on it. Actually, 3 of it was from the exploding Razorback, and then he only did 1 to it, my barge. And then this guy did 2 wounds with his mortal wounds onto that with his Transdimensional Thunderbolt, I think it's called. But the Chaplain has the litany of 5+ feel no pain, and so he passed both of his 5+, so I didn't actually do any damage to them. So that's it. On my turn 1, I'm doing a bunch of objectives. I did get 3 points for Domination, and we'll be back with Dark Angels turn 1. Alright, so we're back at Dark Angels turn number 2, and it was a much better turn 2 for the Dark Angels. So they finally shot into the Nightbringer and did 3 wounds to him for the shooting phase, so he's down to 6. Other than that, I took a bunch of fire into that unit of Scarabs that was there. They actually survived a lot longer than they should have. And then these Destroyers, luckily they killed 3, but 1 did reanimate, so I still have 3 left. They also took a charge from this bike squad, but the Power Fist luckily missed all of his attacks, so I didn't take any damage from that. Other than that, the 2 Terminator squads come in. This one used a stratagem to deep strike within 6 inches of a biker. So they came in over here and then assaulted my warriors, but thanks to some really good reanimations, I actually only lost 3 warriors. But I am fighting Terminators, so that's going to be a hard fight for some warriors. But the really bad news for us is there used to be heavy destroyers here. They came in over here, and they actually shot my destroyers, which was a questionable move, and killed one, so put him at an 11-inch charge. And then with a reroll, he rolled boxcars and made it, and then power fisted my destroyers to death. So they are gone. So I lost the destroyers, I lost the 1 unit of Scarabs. He got engaged on all fronts for 3 points, and then 5 on the primary, and 2 for raise the banners. So it was a pretty good turn, and they have a lot of board control right now. So we'll be back with Necron turn 2. Alright, so Necron turn 2, we did a lot more than we did turn 1, because it was a really quick turn 1. So as you can see, I control the center of the board now, but the only forward thing I have really is the Nightbringer. So we killed the bikers, the Nightbringer went in and assaulted them and finished them off. But before that, in the movement phase, he lightning bolted the chaplain down pretty much. So that was really cool with his special attack that he has, the roll 3 dice and every 4 plus his D3 mortal wounds. He caused a whole bunch of mortal wounds. I rolled really hot with that, so that was kind of cool. Way over here, these Scarabs assaulted and killed the quad bike with the Gatling gun. He only had 4 wounds left, and I was able to do exactly 4 wounds to it. And then back here, shooting killed 2 of these guys, and then close combat killed another 1. And his warlord trait of take -1 damage is really handy against Power Fist. They only do 2 damage now, so he's taking 1 damage per hit. And then finally, the last thing I did was in the shooting phase, my barge here, or my arc rather, shot in and knocked that razor back down to 2 wounds left. That was my whole turn. I do hold 3 objectives. Oh, and these guys deployed scramblers outside my deployment zone. So I hold 1, 2, and 3 objectives, because these warriors are objective secured compared to those Terminators, and there's an objective right behind that wall. So I got my domination points. I got 5 points in the primary, because in this mission you have to hold 3 to get the 10 points. And then I did not get another scan thing for the mission-specific secondary. So I'll have to try and do that later on. But that's it for Necron turn 2. Alright, so we're back at Dark Angels turn number 3. And they continue the pressure, but the Necron's just holding out with pure durability. So these Scarabs were sitting here after killing that biker. He shot in and then assaulted him, killing 4. They did, in combat though, kill 1 Marine back, so that's kind of handy. Over here, he killed another 3 warriors. He's only been averaging about 3 warriors dead per turn with my reanimation rolls there. So that 20-man squad's really been earning its pay, just holding up those Terminators. Way back here in the back, my lord killed off that squad of Terminators. That relic war scythe that gives a flat 3 damage is pretty awesome against 3 wound Terminators. So that went really well for us. Over here, he was able to do 2 wounds to my lord here, and then killed 1 of my Skorpeks down here on the ground. Another one only has 1 wound left. With a 2-man squad, he can shoot there, but I used the -1 to wound stratagem on the big guy up top, so that saved his life. And then he knocked the Nightbringer down to 3 wounds. He tried to get him all the way down to 1. He could have done 2 more wounds in combat and got him down to a single wound, but I was able to pass 2 saving throws, 1 against the Power Fist, to survive. He also went in with bikers, that's why those guys are there. He went in with a bike squad. I killed the bikes, so the power armor's still there. Their objective secured, so they're holding that objective, but I wanted to kill the mobility of the bikes. So that is it for Dark Angels. They did get 5 points in the primary. They got 2 points on engaging all fronts and another 2 points on banners. So we're back with Necron turn 3. Alright, so Necron turn number 3, and it was a decent turn for us. I'd say it's not bad. We got a lot of points. So I moved up in the middle here. My destroyer, Skorpekh Destroyers, assaulted in and helped finish off that squad that was surrounding the Nightbringer. Also, I blew up that tank that was there. I only had 2 wounds left, so it died. And then I killed almost all of these guys. So what I did here is I fell back from combat. No, I did not fall back from combat. I was in combat with my warriors. I used my Veil of Darkness to pull them out of combat. And they flew way over here with my Skorpekh Lord, which is in his deployment zone, so I could deploy scramblers in his deployment zone. I lost 2 Scarabs here. I only did 1 wound back, so that was really bad for me. And then these warriors came on. So that was about it. We pretty much cleared out the center. and then everything else focused onto these Terminators. Everything that could shoot there shot there, and then I assaulted in, and he had 3 Terminators left, and they'd been doing pretty much nothing to my warriors all game. I assaulted in with this guy, and they put 5 wounds, put 5 wounds on him, so they got 4 left. So that kind of hurt, but it's not too bad. So we'll be back. I think I scored 5 points in the primary. I had 3 points for domination, and I got my last scrambler for 10 points. So it's a good point turn, just didn't kill a lot other than those 4 Terminators. Anyway, we'll be back with Dark Angels turn number 4. Alright, so I came around to the other side of the board here. This is most of the Dark Angels. They pretty much just positioned on this side of the table. The Whirlwind moved back, it was over there. You can see him kind of came around the table here. Everything positioned in and shot the Nightbringer, and it took all of it. I actually passed way more saves than I should have this turn. He only had 3 wounds left. But this big squad here finally was the last thing. He wanted to shoot across the way with him, but I made all my saves from everything else, so he had to shoot him in there and was able to finally take him down. He did explode, but only did 1 wound to my Skorpekh there in the middle. So that was it. He finally killed the big baddie on the board, but he got 5 points for primary, 2 points for banners, but I did kill his last Terminator way over there, so he no longer has engaged on all fronts, at least not this turn. So he can probably get next turn with this Rhino down here. But that's it for the Dark Angels turn 4. We're back with Necron's turn number 4. Alright, so Necron turn number 4. Didn't do a lot of damage, but I'm finally taking all the board control. So my Skorpekh Lord came down here, got punched for his trouble, lost a wound, but was able to kill 3 of the Marines in combat. The Scarabs were not able to do the last, kill the last Marine there, so we have 1 left. In the middle of the board, my Lord is simply holding an objective. These warriors moved on to this objective way over here. And I have the same thing over here, another squad of warriors in this one. These Doomsday Ark came to the center, shot the Rhino with all of its guns, put like 6 or 7 wounds onto it, so it's got 3 left. And then finally my 2 Skorpekh Destroyers. This is the longest they have ever survived any battle. But they actually didn't do anything. They assaulted in, I rolled bad, and I only killed 1 Marine. And actually, no, I lied. He rolled really good. I did 2 wounds with my small blades at -3 AP. He only had 6 up save and a rolled boxcar, so saved them both. So anyway, the Marines still hold that objective. So that's it. We'll be back with Dark Angels turn 5. Alright, so we're back at the end of Dark Angels turn number 5. Their last turn was real quick. This guy here used Desperate Breakout to get out of there and did not die falling back. And that was important for him because that is the only guy he has in this table quarter for his engage on all fronts. So he did get the points for engage on all fronts thanks to that guy making it out of combat alive. And then all the rest of the action happened over here. He shot at my Skorpekh Destroyers. I only had 1 wound left on 1 model, and then his Primaris Marines made the charge in and did the last wound to him, so my Skorpekhs died. And that was the whole turn. So he got engaged on all fronts for some points, and that was and he got 1 raise the banner for that objective over there those guys are on. So that was it for Dark Angels turn 5. We'll be back with Necrons and see if I can get any extra points this last turn. Alright, so the end of Necron turn 4, didn't do a whole lot, just I scored my points at the beginning, so I held 3 objectives. Actually I held 4 objectives, I won the building there too, but I got my 15 points in the primary. I got, without even moving, I got 3 points on domination. And then the only thing I tried to do is Azrael was left on his own in that building. He's gone now, they got picked up, but he was in that building, and he was unguarded because these Marines made the charge. So I shot him with this. I used a CP to auto wound with one of my shots and then got another wound with another shot. He failed both saves and I was able to put 6 wounds on him. And that was one of his while we stand we fight targets, so I denied him 5 points by doing that. So in the end it was 75 to 30 for the Necrons, but if you include the fact that his army was fully painted, it was 75 to 40. So it was a good bout for the Necrons. The Dark Angels started off real strong. This big charge back here where his Terminators came in and wiped out my heavies was really painful. It made my commander turn around and come back. But that Warlord trait that he had to only take 1 damage, or -1 damage when he gets hit, really came in clutch against the Power Fist on the Terminators. So once I was able to deal with those Terminators, then I got board control back and was able to slowly push him back. And he didn't have a real good answer to the Nightbringer until about turn 3. So that's really kind of what saved my bacon there. But anyway, that was it. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back next time.